Hello, hello. Hello, ladies. Hey, everyone.
Hey guys.
Kirsten, yay.
Hey, sorry, finally made it.
Good.
Good.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, Teresa, thank you for that photo. I got it in.
Yeah, I just finished it this morning.
Good timing. Leanne, nice to see you.
Hey, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for
Good.
having me. I'm actually in an upright position. Last week I was like on the pillow listening.
That's all right. We'll take you however we can get you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being so active in the Facebook group this week. The people that are viewing us from different time zones appreciate that, and they appreciate everybody being so chatty and here on these calls so that they can feel like they're here with us. So that's really cool and awesome. I thank you for that. We're having what I would, if I were in Maine right now in America, I would call what we're having, what our weather is outside, a northeaster.
Oh, it's nor'easter.
A nor'easter.
A nor'easter.
Nor'easter.
A nor'easter.
Right. But here, you know, since we're in Poland with Russia as our neighbor, this is called the beast from the east.
A beaster.
So we blame everything on Russia.
That's a good plan.
So funny. The beast from the east. Oh, I had a chuckle about that today.
That's funny.
I guess it all depends on where you're from. Oh, goodness.
Mary,
Yes.
I realized that I completely missed out on the idea of having magazines and collecting photos and quotes that we want. And I realized that I have absolutely no magazines at all.
Oh,
and
I do.
Yeah. You do? What can we do about this? How can we bring our powers together?
Well, I can meet you downtown.
Okay. Are
And
you
if
in
wanna do
Warsaw?
that. Oh, you're in Warsaw, right? I forgot. See,
Yeah.
last time I saw you, you were in Łódź.
Mm. I mean, I have some, National Geographic and that kind of magazines. Maybe something
That's
interesting
great.
will come out.
I mean, you know, the only other thing, you don't have a printer probably at home either, right?
Mm-mm.
So let's see, Karen just said, I use Google Images and created words on Canva. So, I mean, you can do things like that and then do it. I suppose you could do it virtually. I'm happy to be here. I need this in the morning. I'm in the middle of falling apart. We are here for you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Not to worry. So for the time being, you could create something virtually. Because I struggled in making vision boards here because it's so expensive to buy magazines here
Yeah.
in English. So of course I had, my friends send me some, my sisters and stuff send me some. But every time I go to America now, I just grab a bunch of magazines, whatever kind, and I just cut them up. So I have a file full of pictures and words already cut, and then I have a bunch of other magazines. And so then I don't have to keep the magazines, and I can always just keep this folder of stuff. And then whenever I want to update my vision board or change it or make a new one, then I've got stuff to start with that meant something to me prior, and it kind of brings up those thoughts or that juicy stuff again, and I can get right back in it really, really quickly. At the moment, I don't have any plans to go to Warsaw, but if that changes, I will let you know.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm gonna ask Karen about this Canva, because I don't know what that is. So I'm gonna talk with her now.
Okay, super.
Okay. Thank
Super.
you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes, of course. There's always a way. There's always a way.
National Geographic should be great.
Yeah, it is. It's just that they are like my Bibles, and I'm not sure if my heart will allow me to cut them up. You know?
Yes, I totally understand that. Yes. Sarah, glad that you are here. Yes, we're here for you. Lots of stuff going on. And interesting, this was crazy, and I don't know if any of you have heard this. I had heard it for the first time. I was speaking with a very dear friend yesterday who had moved to Ireland to do her master's. And she had just completed it, and we were celebrating together virtually. And she told me that she was asked, she coaches C-level suite executives. And she told me that she was asked by a magazine or a website or something to write a blog or a post about Blue Monday. Has anybody else heard about Blue Monday? No. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it out there for you all because I had never heard of it. And because people have been reaching out to me this week that it's been, they're going through some stuff, and as people have shown in the chat already, that they're going through some stuff, which is good because you're in the right place. We're all here, like we're here together to hold each other up. So, but this Blue Monday, and I'm going to talk about it because you may see something about it on Facebook or in a magazine or on the news or something. I was clueless. So I can't remember when she said this was. I think she said it was back in the 70s. This might have been I don't know when it was. Anyway, this psychologist was asked by an airline whose sales were dropped every January, or there was some crisis in America or something, and the sales plummeted for travel. And this airline reached out to this psychologist and asked him if he could come up with some way to market that that you should still travel like this, whatever is going on in the world, you should still get out and travel. And he came up with this, he did some research, and he found that people struggle emotionally the third Monday in January. And so he decided to call this Blue Monday, and to get rid of the blues. You should be up in the blue sky, and you should be traveling. You should be flying. So this airline used this Blue Monday thing to incentivize people to travel. So I just want to put it out there, just in case anybody happens to come across this in social media or in a post somewhere about Blue Monday and how, you're sad or emotional or whatever during this time. People's emotions, of course, run rampant, especially now, COVID in America. We've got, God forbid, who knows what's going to happen this week. And, winter is here. We don't see as much sun, all of that stuff. So I just want everyone to be aware of your emotions this time of year, and that we are here for one another. If you're struggling with something, don't forget that this group is here for you. Message somebody, reach out to somebody that's resonated with you in the group if you're struggling. If you need somebody to talk to, we're here for you. The interesting thing was how she spoke about this to me was, she said, instead of calling it Blue Monday, let's call it Navy Monday. And so she put an acronym to that. And she put the acronym of, Navy, Navy. And I thought that this was great, especially for what you guys have been through last week in the emotions and relationships, and now we're moving into spiritual. So N is for notice. We don't get a chance to do anything. We have no chances to do anything until we notice. It's that pause. The pause makes all the difference, because our life is on autopilot. And that's how we're built. That's just how we're built as humans, to just be on autopilot. Wake up, put your pants on the same way, drive to work the same way. Same. Next is to ask. Ask, is this true? Is this whatever I'm going through right now true? And does this thought that I'm having serve me? And does it serve the world? If I'm supposed to be the light for others, as well as for myself, does this thought serve me? Or do I need to change my thought? Do I need to ask for help? Do I need to reach out to somebody and say, look, I'm having a really lousy day and just want somebody to hold my hand. And even though it's virtually, can you do that for me? And verify. So take, how I often say, put this, whatever it is, in your hand so that you can see it, because it's these thoughts, right? These things that they came from, we don't know where. But try and grab this thought that you're having, this reoccurring negative thought that is like not making you feel good about yourself or about anything, and put it in your hand and look at it so that you can have a visual to it, and like flip it over, flip the underside of it to see the message, the other side of the message, just as though it were a coin, because there are two sides to every coin, right? We've got the good side and the bad side. So flip it over and see see what's there. See if you can grab a hold of it. And then to say yes to something. Say yes to change. Say yes to doing something different. Say yes to you. So as we come into this strange cycle of whatever, we probably also have a full moon coming up here sometime soon too. Just make sure that instead of looking at this blue side of things, although I would love to see some blue skies right now, that would make me really happy. But just think of this navy, right? Navy. Notice, ask, verify, and say yes to change. Say yes to your FFT. Say yes to doing something for the very first time. So I just wanted to share that with people just in case it may help you, it may help somebody else. As I said, I had never heard of this before, but I wanted to make sure that if any of you are going to experience or are experiencing something coming up, that you had a tool that might be able to help you. Also, I introduced this friend of mine to the FFT, to the fucking first time. She had never heard of that. And interestingly, when I think of FFT, I think of doing something, thanks Karen, something for the first time, like doing online. Well, for me, it was like doing online workshops for the first time. Like that was my scary, my scary thing. But how she said it to me, she said, Mary, every day is a fucking first time. Every day I'm getting out of bed. I'm getting out of bed on that day for the very first time. And I need to remember that everything I'm doing that day is for the very first time. And I just thought that was fabulous. And she mentioned to me that her FFT to her she's always told her kids that today is a dress rehearsal. We're just going to try it out. So if you happen to forget your lines, if you happen to forget what you're doing, if you happen to get off track, then it's just a dress rehearsal. So as we, as I sit here in the middle of this beast from the east, then I wish for you blue skies and for you to say yes to yourself. And maybe the day that you're struggling with something emotionally, that you actually put on something navy so that you remember to notice and ask and verify and remember to say yes to your dress rehearsal. So this was a big week for you guys. There was a lot of messaging going on, not only from the session that we had online and the recording that people watched. Oh my gosh, look at that heart, Talia. That is gorgeous. So it was the reframing fear. What are you going to do with your heart? And then the thank you letter, which some people started, some people thought about, some people tackled. And so it was a big week. There's a lot of stuff coming at you, and I don't know how to do this any differently to make it any different, because there's just, I just want us to be able to, through this program, to give you as many tools as you can, so that when we are no longer together face to face online weekly, then you have some tools and some places to go to get more things. So tell me about Talia, tell me about your experience with your heart.
Mine.
Yeah.
My heart. Okay, so it is actually awesome. I'm really happy that this happened. Because as you remember, I shared about the thank you letter that I, told myself. I didn't actually, I started writing it, but then I fell asleep. So, because, with the baby, this is life. But I actually went through it in my head, and then I realized that I can thank each and every part of my body, yet I cannot thank myself as a whole. And then I put in the middle of this heart that I am not attractive enough. And that is not only physical attraction to a loved one, but also as a person, as a person that who other people would believe in and would like to come with you to somewhere, to follow you to that you guys can all be together. I don't have this attraction anymore. I felt like, I'm invisible. And then I was I was doing this breath work, and I felt so much pain stuck in my throat and in my solar plexus chakra here. And I was feeling like, okay, what is day 3? Give me day 3, give me day 4, where are they? And this is why I wrote to you, because I was like, okay, let's move forward. What's gonna happen now?
Thank goodness
and when I
you
finally and when I finally received your message, I think it was in the middle of the night here, and I said, okay, I have to do it. And I woke up. I got up and I went to the living room. I left my baby. Thank God he was sleeping. And then I started writing down these things that I learned. And first I thought, when I read what the task, I was like, gosh, how can someone learn anything from being unattractive? But once I started writing again, it's just, this is what I learned this week. Just start doing it, because it is coming out. It's pouring out. And I was so happy once I painted the heart and I couldn't see it anymore, my fear. It was transformed into a heart. I actually, this morning, I stood in front of the mirror. It was a very hard night. My baby got the vaccination yesterday, and he had a huge temperature all night. And I made it, I washed him. I in a way, I felt like, oh my God, I'm an awesome mom, and I'm a witch, And I stood in front of the mirror, and I didn't see anyone who is unattractive. I just saw an amazing person. And I was like, yes. So yeah, this is, and I'm saying this, it may be different next week, right? Again, I may look at myself and see something different, but I'm going to remember this feeling. I wrote it down. It's here. I'm just going to see this heart, and I'll say, come on, Talia, you did it in the midst of the darkest part of your life, and you can do it again. So thank you for that.
Yes. Bravo. That was awesome. That was terrific. Awesome. Teresa, I've got the picture of yours in the PowerPoint. So let me get to you, because I want to show what you did on your heart. Because it's pretty awesome. Does anybody else have any comments about their thank you letters, or their reframing fear process, about about your heart before I go on to the PowerPoint to show you Teresa's. Yes, Karen.
Mary, my big discovery, and it was unexpected, as these always are, is that I didn't want to cover over my fear. It was like, I can't lose that. I have to remember what I'm afraid of. And when I did it and saw all those good messages, it was like, why do I hold on to this? I've always asked myself, 20 years, I've asked myself, what is this teaching me? Blah, blah, blah. But I've never erased it so that I could not see it.
Wow.
And thank you. It was so liberating and so magnificent. And I feel like this heart will now be a regular ongoing practice with every fear that ever comes up. So thank you, thank you,
Oh.
thank you, thank you,
That's
thank you.
that is that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. This is, you know, these exercises seem when you know, when I do this or explain it, they seem at the time like so silly or so insignificant. And then all of a sudden this magic happens, and I'm so grateful, so grateful. Anybody else? Anything you want to share before I share my screen? Okay. Okay, so session 3. Here we are, our spiritual core. So Teresa, there you are. Teresa just emailed me this, and I had to share it. You want to give it a go, Teresa? Tell us what it's all about.
Sure. I was excited about day 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I even looked back at the past sessions, and I was like, I need to do 3 and 4, and where's 5? Like all at once, instead of just sitting with it calmly. And then today was the day that I put the stickers on the middle, and they come from, believe it or not, a calendar. And it all sorts of things. It says school time, massage time, me time, yay me. And it came from a program called Fly Lady, FLY, Finally Loving Yourself. But it's flylady.net, and she has a nice calendar. But she talks similar to what Mary has been talking about, our fear and our challenges and just doing small things. But I too hesitated about putting those stickers that are probably semi-permanent on that fear. I was like, but I might want to look back and see what I was fearing. And I was just like, as soon as I covered it, it all became hazy and like, what was that fear again? Like, and I just saw it like a half an hour ago, and I'm just like, it's not showing up. But yet all the things around it, setting boundaries, saying no, you know, dreaming and vision board and Reiki business, and all of those positive things being written around that fear that's gone are really amazing and powerful, very powerful. And covering it up was very powerful. I have this new black marker I've been marking my binders with and stuff. It's a very nice paint pen, but I didn't want to put a black thingy there, and I didn't have markers, so I found my stickers. I wanted to keep it cheery. So this was really powerful, and I can see myself doing it anytime I have fear. Maybe I want to put a blank one up on my bathroom mirror and just put, here's a challenge, and then just say to myself, okay, I'm going to take one of these down and I'm going to go sit and I'm going to do it. So it's a powerful tool in our toolbox, definitely.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Does anybody have any questions for Talia or Karen or Teresa, or comments that they want to make?
I do.
Okay.
Talia, can I see your heart? Because I missed that. I'm sorry. Did you hear me?
Yeah, can you see it? She's showing it on.
Oh, hold on, Talia. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I was saying it's not a very beautiful one, but it is there.
It's a heart, so it's beautiful. Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and it is written in Turkish, everything, because, you know, I thought English is speaking to my mind, but I think Turkish is speaking to my heart. So
Oh, that's
I
wonderful.
Oh, it's your
decided to
mother
go with that.
language. Yeah,
this is,
awesome.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay, so today, if everyone can go back and mute themselves, that would be great. So today is about spirituality, but it's not, as I mentioned before, it doesn't come from a religious point of view unless you want it to. It's more about getting to the point where you can view the divine that's inside of you, like what is that light? Can you call forth that light in you? And it's to bring about an understanding of from the first week where we talked about wealth and abundance, like how big is your world? Like how sometimes when we look at how big our world is, we might even be like, oh my gosh, that's like a big world, and kind of want to shrink to that. But this is about bringing all of that goodness that's inside of us, letting it bubble up, letting that light come out of us. That's what today is about. Again, I will use the word God in relation to the universe, angels, your fairy godmother, whatever you want that to be. I will just use the word God. It's not on purpose to alienate any other divine being. It is just as a place marker to use. I also wanted you to notice here on the dates and times that I am adding another call on the 13th. This is a call specifically for the people that are here that have been sponsored by someone, and for the people that sponsored women in this vision board process. I just want to give you something back for being part of that. Again, it's not to alienate anybody else, but I just wanted to also bring you together, the people that have sponsored people and the recipients of those sponsorships, because you don't really have a chance to sit in a room together and say hello to one another face to face, whether or not you know the person that sponsored you or not. You may never know, but you might be able to spend some time and get to know one another in that way. But I'll have more about that to come. It was one of those things. I woke up in the middle of the night and it felt right. And again, when that happens, I just have to act on it. So, okay. So this is a quote by Glenna Salisbury. I met Glenna Salisbury. She's an international Christian leadership speaker. I met her while I was in Phoenix, Arizona. And she's just so authentic and so down to earth. And we're having a chat. I met her. She was doing a speech, a lecture, and she had invited me to hear her speak. And I was, so thrilled to to be there and be in her presence. And after we sat down for some coffee, had to have a little chat, a meet and greet, because I had never really met her before, just, email back and forth. And, she said to me, as women often do, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Why are we here? Why are we sitting here together? And I said, I don't know, there's something that I'm supposed to be doing. And, I must be afraid of it because I'm here. And this is the exact quote that she said to me. And I want to share this with you. And she said to me, you are where you are because you haven't taken yourself someplace else. And that kind of, is like a smack across the face, or, a punch in the back, or, an elbow to the side or something. You are where you are because you haven't taken yourself someplace else. So I wanted to use that in reference to the conversation today of just think about that. Think about that as we talk about this light within you, this divine within you, this God within you. Where are you taking yourself? Where will your light shine? And on whom will it shine? Like who is it that needs your light? And that can be a big question. I mean, it is a big question. And I don't want to have anybody go to a place of, oh my God, that's over, it's big, it's too big, it's too big. I just let it bubble. Let it bubble. Don't be afraid of it, because it's something. You're here for a reason. You may know your reason. Just breathe it. Just allow it. Just love that question of you are where you are because you haven't taken yourself someplace else. It's a big question. But today is about our inner and our outer self-concept. Who are we? Who are we? Where do we go when we get centered? And I want us to focus on that inner self-concept, because these are things that we can't, that this is all stuff that we can't see. It's our thoughts, it's our body functions. And how does that happen? I'm always in awe of when, and you and maybe you were too, during doing these processes of doing the reframing your fear, the heart, or writing a thank you note, is you're opening up a journal and you've got a blank piece of paper in front of you and you've got a pen or a pencil, and you sit down and all of a sudden magic happens. All of a sudden these thoughts become images on a piece of paper. And how does that happen? How magnificent are we to manifest a thought and put it down on paper? and then have an opportunity to look at it days, weeks, years to come, and look at it and go, oh, wow, I can't believe I wrote that. I keep journals. I love journaling. And I have 20 years worth of journals. And I'll randomly open them, pick one and just randomly open it and go, you know, I'm impressed with you, Mary. I mean, sometimes I'll just be like, where did that, like how that I did that. You did that. And I want us to begin to recognize and silence that inner critic and to be able to recognize the magnificence that we have within us if we allow it to bubble up and come out and flow from pen to paper, because magic can happen. You know, it's thinking about our body, our heart just beats. It just does it. The blood flows, like these things just miraculously happen, and we don't take the time to listen and go, oh wow, I haven't heard my heartbeat for like a long time, and today maybe I'll listen to that, or maybe today I'll feel my pulse, or today I'll look at myself wiggling my toes or wiggling my fingers and look at how magnificent and how divine that is for that to be happening to me. So today I love to talk about the spiritual stuff. I was brought up Catholic, but Catholicism in our house was you went to church on Sunday and did your hour, and that was good. You know, you had to be nice and kind, and, you know, you had to be a nice person, but other than that, that's about all it was. And now, as I've grown and keep doing this work and realize what spirituality is to me, because it's different for everybody, and how just how magnificent this gift is of me showing up in this body and the things that I get to do and that I get to share. So today we're gonna, as we've worked on this past week and silencing this inner critic and making taking this fear and just seeing that there's all this goodness around it, and taking a look at how to silence these voices further, taking a look at what faith means to us. That word always scared me, because I thought that whenever people were talking about faith, they were immediately talking about like a Christian value, and it always used to scare me. Literally, like I used to be like, oh God, they're going down that road. Oh God, I'm uncomfortable. Until I became sick with Lyme disease and was put out on disability, and I'm forever thankful for Bloomingdale's and being an executive at Bloomingdale's at the time, because of how well I was cared for by them. But the one thing as an executive that I was asked to do was to go to therapy, because as an executive at that level in luxury retail, believe it or not, is extremely stressful. And hey, Linda, I see that you've just entered the room. Can you silence yourself, please? Thank you. And welcome. So they told me that I needed to go to a counselor. I had never been to a counselor before, or a therapist, I should say. And they gave me a list of people that I could choose from. And I interviewed them, and I picked one, and I went to this woman. And I went into her office, and the reason that they have executives go through counseling is because we are, you know, you're responsible for multi-million dollars of business, and all of a sudden you're out for sick leave or disability or mental health, whatever, and you lose it, like you go into depression, or you know, you just don't know what to do with yourself. So I went to this woman, and I was sitting in her room, and we were talking about how I was feeling, what I was going through, and she said to me, do you pray? And I said, well, yeah, you know, like I pray that my kids will be healthy, and that the people that I'm involved with are safe. And she said, no, but do you pray for yourself, like that you're okay and that you're good and that, you know? And I was like, well, that's kind of selfish. And she said, actually, that's the prayer that should come first. And so that was my inner critic, right? That was that thing inside of me saying that I need to take care of it, and that nurturing woman side of us, right? That I need to take care of everybody else before I can take care of myself. And she said, tell me about your faith. Do you have faith? And I said, oh, we're going down that road again. That word kind of scares me. That word flips me out. And she said, I want you to take a look at faith in having faith in yourself and your body, and that you know what to do, and that you have the answers inside of you, but you need to get to that quiet space and have faith. And so as we talk about spirituality today, I wanted to have you take a look at what is your heart's desire. So last week we looked at the emotional side of things, the fear, and that it's a thought that we gave belief to. And then writing yourself a thank you note, or those people in your lives that have harmed you or did a disservice to you, a thank you note. But now is to bring it all back, and what is that light that wants to come up, kind of like a glass of champagne. Like you've got this glass of champagne inside of you that's bubbling, and it's time to take a sip. It's time to take a sip of this goodness that's bubbling up inside of you. And what is your heart's desire? And maybe you might think about this for the very first time, or maybe you might write it down or say it out loud for the very first time. But there's this stuff that's happening now, because we've gotten rid of some stuff. We haven't gotten rid of all of it. We've released some stuff. But what is it telling you? If you were to put your hands on your belly and think of this as this glass of champagne, and feel these bubbles, or this butterflies, or this anxiousness, or this something that's down there, what is it trying to tell you? What's it trying to release? What does it want to say? Because as in the quote that I read earlier, you are where you are because you haven't taken yourself someplace else. You haven't taken a sip of the champagne yet. But at the same time, there's something that you've gained from staying here. There's something that you've gained from staying here. A story, an excuse, fear, of course, but not being able to come to clarity, not feeling though that you're deserving of the time to allow this to come up. Maybe it's a reoccurring illness that keeps creeping and showing its ugly head, and every time it comes up, you feel defeated again, and you feel like you're starting from the bottom all over again. And in reality, that's not true. You remember, your body remembers. And if you can have faith and call that information back up, begin to drink that champagne, begin to glow in that light of you, that heart's desire that is inside of you, then you can take that and move from being here to being where your heart wants to lead you, and having the faith that that's okay. That it's okay, that it's a dress rehearsal. We're just doing a dress rehearsal. And what does it feel like to surrender? What does it feel like to let go of those shoulders? What does it feel like, those shoulders that might be up around your ears, or that lower back pain that you have? Or that nauseous feeling that you get when you think about the goals and dreams and this life that you want. Being able to surrender to the next great version of yourself. Surrender to it. Like, if anybody has ever done a trust fall where all these people are standing behind you and you're just supposed to fall back into them and trust that they're going to be there to support you as you fall. Surrendering to what it is that is wanting to bubble up, but you keep swallowing it back down. You keep stuffing it back down. What does it feel like? What does it look like to surrender to this next great version of yourself? What does that look like on your vision board? What does that image of you look like after you surrendered on your vision board? Question your fear until it dissipates into the clear nothingness that it is. You've proven that to yourself this week. The work that you've done this week has been nothing short of magnificent. You've proven that the fear can dissipate into nothingness. Now let's uncover what's there. What's that next best version of yourself underneath that as it dissipates into the clear nothingness that it is? So awesome. So awesome. So this is today's meditation. Again, you don't have to read it. You'll get it in an email. But because we are talking about the spiritual side of ourselves, I wanted to just set ourselves up a little bit deeper on this and take a look at our breath and take a look at seeing how we can get to that point of surrender, how we can give up, release, let go of these chains, if you will, that are holding us. So I wanted to begin this quiet time or this meditation by focusing on our breath. And I invite you to close your eyes and get comfortable and know that you are safe and to trust me, to trust yourself, to feel safe in the arms of the women that are in this room with you and the other women that will be watching this from around the globe as we explore this surrendering to the next great version of ourself. And as I read this verse, and if any negative thoughts pop up, because they may, just notice them and let them float by. Don't hold on to them. There's no need to observe them. You can just let them float by. You can thank them for showing up, but just let it go and come back to my voice. And so I want you to begin by just deepening your breath, taking a big, deep breath in, seeing if you can get it, push it down, inhale down into your belly and get your belly to rise to get that good oxytocin flowing. But look at each inhale as a new arrival, because this is the first time you've taken this breath. This is the first time you've breathed in this air. And greet this breath and invite it to go deeper. Invite it to go deeper and warming you as this new arrival is here. So inhale lots of love in. And as you exhale, exhale love out. And you may even be able to visualize hearts or the word love or some warmth of some kinds coming out of your mouth. So inhale in, lots of love, exhale, lots of love out. And now take the deepest breath that you have all day, the deepest breath as we settle in and get this oxytocin flowing, this feel good hormone, like you're giving yourself a big hug from the inside as I read this. Feel yourself filled with joy and anticipation and say things like, I like being here and I feel so good. I am the total package and I created it. I am full of energy with no resistance, moving effortlessly through my day and my life. I am surrounded by those who are full of positive energy, and I become more clear moment by moment of what I am wanting. I am prepared. I am ready. I am excited by the day placed before me. I am happy knowing that I am deserving of all that I seek. I am deserving of this next great version of myself. Money is flowing to me day by day in direct proportion to my services rendered, and I am proud and deserving. My experiences are not limited by the dollars in my pocket. My experiences are only limited by whether or not I choose to have that experience. And I choose abundance. There is more than enough for everyone, and I have the power to attract prosperity easily. I am in perfect health, invigorated with life and full of appreciation. I promise myself to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to everyone that I meet, to make all of my friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and to make my optimism come true, to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as I am about my own, to forget the mistakes of the past and to press on to the greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful expression at all times and give a smile to every living creature that I meet, to give so much time to improving myself that I have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of myself and to proclaim that fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds, to live in the faith that the whole world is on my side, so long as I am true to the best that is in me. So now, as I leave this place, I'm filled with thoughts of abundance, prosperity, health, and gratitude. And I will share this feeling with all who cross my path because I am deserving. So now, as you take another big deep breath in and let that love shine out, you can begin to feel the seat beneath you. Wiggle your toes and fingers. And as you slowly begin to open your eyes and know that today will be like no other, and that you get to choose how to show up in the world. So awesome. So here we are. It's your time. Your time to show up. So get your paper out if you haven't got it already, something to write with. There is nothing absent or lacking in my life. There's nothing absent. There's nothing absent or lacking. I've got everything that I need. Everything is present. It's already in my potential. It's already here. When I have faith, when I believe, when I trust that it's here already. I don't have to look to see if it's manifested already because I have a knowing. I have a knowing. And who am I? Who is this next great version of myself? What if I were, for those of you that have ever watched The Wizard of Oz and watching Dorothy walk down the yellow brick road, if you are walking down the yellow brick road of your vision board, who are you? When you skip down the yellow brick road in your ruby red slippers and you look at the life that's around you, what shows up? What shows up that you've allowed to bubble up? That you've allowed that heart's desire to show up? And what does this want to tell you? What does that heart's desire want to tell you? Just like Glenna Salisbury said to me, you, it's there inside of you, Mary. Just have faith. Have faith. I am the right person. I am the right person. I'm the right person to receive this life of joy and abundance that I see all around me. That as I'm walking in my vision board, I'm walking down, walking around, looking at every picture that I placed, every word that I selected. I'm walking around, and I can smile, and I can be giddy, and I have a knowing, I have an inner knowing that I am the right person to be here receiving this joy and abundance. I'm the right person. This is my story. I'm the right person. Why is now the right time? Why now? You've done the work. You've lived the life. You've released the fear. You've seen the lessons. Why now is the right time for you to receive all of this joy and abundance that you have, these images and pictures and words that you have around you. Even if you don't have your vision board done yet, or maybe you've begun to look at magazines, or you've started to cut things out. Why that picture? Why is that the one that you deserve and that it deserves you? The things that are most important to me about myself, not, oh, my family's important to me, for sure. My husband, my daughters, my grandkids, but what's important? What's that thing about me that's me, that only I have? What's if now is my time? If now is the right time for me to show this next great version of myself, then what is it about that greater version of myself that is most important, that I never want to forget, that I always want to make sure that I'm bringing forth? The life that I visualize for myself includes this. And yes, you can talk about the things, the stuff, the house, the place, the people that are around you. Maybe it's the way you look, or how you feel, or the car you drive. But the life I visualize for myself also includes this divine, this God, this light, this knowing that heart's desire wants to be included in this image. If I am a blessing to the world, if I am a blessing to the world, what imprint am I trying to leave? If I'm the blessing, what imprint am I trying to leave? That's such a great question. When I enter a room, what am I bringing? When I leave the room, what imprint am I leaving behind? I am no longer the victim. You made it disappear this week. The fear can disappear because of all the goodness, all the lessons. And I'm living my best life right now because now is my time. So write down how your light, your inner knowing, your divine, your God within, how it is influencing your choices. This knowing that I'm the right person guides me to making better choices. It guides me to feeling an inner peace, an inner calm, knowing that I am enough and that now is the time. And this light within me influences my boundaries. Knowing that I am valuable, my time is valuable, I am worthy. I am living an authentic life. Like I show up. I show up no matter who I'm around or where I am. I bring all of me. I bring all of me because it's my time and I'm the light. And I don't know whose life might need me to show up today. So every day I choose to show up authentic. When I walk into that room and when I leave the room, what is it that others could describe me? What words would others use to describe me? And what do I want to be recognized for? How can others, by me showing up in an authentic way, how can others recognize my heart's desire? How can they feel it or know it? What are the words that they would use as they view my heart's desire coming forth? How would they describe it? And I'm standing in my truth right now. I am authentic. I have my boundaries. I have made choices from my heart space. I'm standing in my truth. And because of that, there are rewards that the world reaps because I am standing in my truth. What is the message that I have to share with the world? What is that message of me, that authentic self? What is that message that I have to share with the world? So that I can be the light for just one other person. I love being in my space. My space tells a story about the person that I am. My space represents that authentic person that I am. And if someone walked into my space without knowing me, what do I want them to know about me? What is the feeling that I want them to get to know? So that when I show up, they feel as though they've known me for years. I read an article this week by a neuroscientist that is a specialist in emotions. And one of the biggest statements that he made in this article was about our space. And that in order to allow things to bubble up, in order for us to live our most authentic self, is to look around your space and to organize your space. As Teresa's done a great job of that in organizing her office space. Because this is her time. And by organizing your space, it also kind of declutters your mind. Because now your mind has a path it can follow instead of not knowing where to land or look. Again, it's one of those things that allows others to be able to describe you. It allows you to be able to show up as your authentic self because the confusion is gone, the clutter is gone, not only in your space, but in your mind. And only then does the truth that heart's desire then show up. He also mentioned that have something in your space that you are awestruck by. Whether it's like for me, it's my orchids. Like I'm blown away by these flowers. Have something that you are awestruck by, that when you are having a day of less than, or you're off track, or you're just not feeling it, that you can go to that picture, that flower, that whatever, that you are so awestruck by its beauty, or that awestruck by its magnificence, that you go there and first of all, thank it for showing up, but then just to sit with it and know that it is you and you are it, and you and it are one, and you also are magnificent. So as you look around your space and you're not there, what are the messages that you want to send someone? And then, because we're talking about our inner guidance, and if you could say and believe to yourself, I blind people with the light of my awesomeness. I blind people with the light of my awesomeness. And again, like, you take yourself out and you're looking at yourself in your vision board and seeing those sparks of light that are you. Because this is the cool thing, is that this is a thought. These are all thoughts. So if you are able to think it, then you also can be it. Because these thoughts you're making this up. You're the one that's I'm not making this up. You're the one that's making this up about what your heart's desire is, what your heart is trying to tell you, this next great version of yourself, the blessing that you are to the world. You're the one that is telling the story. So if you can think it, and as you go through this process of doing these exercises, then begin to have faith, begin to know that if this thought was planted inside of you, if it found you, if this thought found you out of all those other thoughts that are flying around in the world, this thought found you. That if you can believe that this thought was meant for you, wasn't meant for anybody else, because no one else got the same thought that you got. No one else got the same thought that you got. No one else got the same thought that you got. If you can believe that that thought was really meant for you, and that if it was meant for you, then it must be true. Then the magic begins to happen. because then you begin to show up authentic. You begin to walk into a room and have a feeling, have a knowing, have an imprint that you are bringing along with you. You know, when I was living in Arizona, and my dad died at a very young age, and he died at 52. So I was 23 years old when he died. And but there are many things that I can say about my dad, but one of them was that he was, very motivational, and he took me to my brother and sisters had no interest in this, and he took me to all these motivational speakers. I heard one of the when Wayne Dyer first started speaking, when he wrote his first book, The Erroneous Zones, he was on a speaking tour, and my dad took me to hear him. I've heard Zig Ziglar speak several times, and Charles Tremendous Jones speak, I don't know how many times. So I was very fortunate to be around these people, and I was in Arizona, and I was a mess, to put it lightly. I was a mess. I hated what I was doing, and it was my fault that I was doing it. But I needed some help, and I didn't know where to turn to, and knew that I needed some help. And I in my merry fashion, which I do this once in a while, I thought, oh, like I want to talk to my dad. I need to talk to my dad. My dad will know. And this image came to my head of Charles Tremendous Jones. So I thought, I'm going to call up Charles Tremendous Jones, because he'll have the answer. He's going to have my answer for me of what I need to do with my life, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so I decided I would Google him, and I Googled him, and that was the day, back in the days when there were phone books, the yellow pages. And I had his phone number, and I called him up, and I thought, I don't know what I'm going to say to him, but he's not going to answer the phone anyway, so I don't need to worry about it. And I dialed the number, and lo and behold, the answering machine came on, and I thought, oh, thank God. And I said, hi, Mr. Jones. My name is Mary Lynch. You probably don't remember me, but I need some help. And I don't know if you'll get this message, but if you want to call me back, I'd left my phone number. And I said, thank you very much. And I hung up. And I thought, whew, yahoo. Okay, I did it. I'm done with that. He's never going to call me back. I don't have to worry. And I got in my car, and I just went to go do some errands. And I'm driving down Scottsdale Road in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my phone rang. And I saw the number, the ID come up of the Pennsylvania area code. And I almost like dropped dead. I pulled off the side of the road, and I picked up the phone, and I said, hi, this is Mary. And he said, well, hi there, Mary Lynch. This is Charles Tremendous Jones. What can I do for you? And I thought, Mr. Jones, I have no idea. I am stuck. I'm a mess. And I'm going to be in Pennsylvania next week on Wednesday, and I would like to take you out to lunch. Is that possible? Now, I was not going to Pennsylvania on Wednesday. I had no intentions of being in Pennsylvania, and I have no idea however I made that crap up in my head and blurted it out my mouth. And I thought, okay, he's going to say no anyway, so I'm going to be totally off the hook. And the phone went silent, and I was thinking, oh, see, I'm right. He's going to say no. And he comes back on the phone, and he goes, what seemed like hours, and it was really only like 10 seconds. And he said to me, no, Mary, I'm sorry. But you can come to my office and I can have lunch brought in for us. And I thought, oh my God. Okay, great, super. I will be there on Wednesday at noon. So not only did I have to go home and tell my husband that I needed to buy a plane ticket and rent a car, but now I needed to figure out what the hell I was going to ask him because I had no idea. So long story short, I get on a plane, I drive, I get there, and I walk into his office building, and I'm greeted by the receptionist, and she said, "Mr. Jones will be with you in a minute." I still get emotional when I talk about this. So he came out, bigger than life. He's like 6'2", dark curly hair, just like my dad. I think that that's why I wanted to call him in particular, because he resembled my dad in my mind's eye. But he had an eye patch on. And he greeted me and said, like our pleasantries, "So glad to see you." And he said, "As you can see, I'm having trouble seeing. So if you don't mind, I want to like touch you and get a feeling of who you are. Want to get your energy and see who you are." So he touched my head and my shoulders and my hands and said, "Now, okay, great. Let's go into my office and we can chat about why you're here." And I was a mess. Sweaty pits, sweaty palms, like I was a mess. And he said, we talked about how I knew him and how he knew my dad. And he said, "So Mary, what can I do for you?" And I said, "I know that I'm supposed to be doing something else. I know that there's something inside of me that wants to come up, and I, for the life of me, don't know what it is. And I'm feeling less than, like I know that I'm supposed to be serving somebody, but I don't know who or how or when or where." And he said, "Okay, all right, got it. He said, "I just want you to turn around and I want you to walk toward my bookcase." And he had a bookcase the whole length of his office. And he said, "But I don't want you to look at where you're going. Just know that you won't trip. There's nothing in your way. And I want you to go to the bookcase wherever you end up. And I want you to pull out a book without looking at it. And I want you to let it fall open in your hand without looking at the cover, without looking at what page it's on. I just want you to let it open. And then I want you to read the left side of the page." He said, I love to read. Obviously, I have all these books, but I can't read anymore. So I love people to read to me. So if you could read to me, that would be great. Now, as I'm walking to the bookcase, I'm now sobbing. As I'm walking to the bookcase, I'm thinking that the books on the bookcase are going to be smarter than I am, that I'm not going to be able to read the words on the pages because I'm so stupid, that I'm not going to be able to pronounce these words and he can't help me because he can't see. And so I'm walking over to the bookcase thinking that, number one, I'm not deserving of being here. Number two, that I'm stupid. Number three, that I made a big mistake. I'm wasting this man's time. And I opened the book and I let it fall open in my hands and I started reading, and I had no idea what I was reading. I couldn't hear anything. My head was abuzz. I was sobbing in between the words, and he just sat there quietly as I read. And I read that page, and he said, "Now follow that page until the next heading. So if it has a heading in the middle of the page, just keep reading." And so I kept reading, and he said, now just close the book. And I closed the book, and he said, that's your answer, Mary. And I said, Mr. Jones, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what I read. I'm so nervous. I don't know why I'm here. I'm sorry I'm wasting your time. I feel like a fool. I'm sorry. I have no idea. I don't even know if I read the words correctly. I have no idea. I'm so sorry. And he said, turn the book over and see the cover and what the title of the book is. And the title of the book was the 100 most used Bible leadership verses for leaders, something like that. And I said, but I don't get it. And he said, Mary, all people want you to do is to lead. And you just need to stand up and lead, because people need the message that only you can give them. And I'm saying this to you as much as on that day in 2007 that he said to me that no matter who it is, whether it's your child, your husband, your friend, a group of women such as this, that there's a message that you have, there's a heart's desire that's inside of you that needs to bubble up. And if you are that blessing that I know you are, then what is that imprint that your heart's desire wants to leave? So one of the things that you'll see coming through in the Facebook group, and that you'll see coming through on your email on Monday, is a little brochure that is like this, that says yes. It just says yes. So this week, I just want you to say yes. As you're putting together, thinking about your vision board, thinking about that imprint that you wish to leave, allowing that heart's desire to bubble up, I just want you to say yes to it. And during this week, what I do is I take these yeses and I cut them out and I put them all over my house. I usually leave one in my car too, but I put one in the bathroom, and I always put one on the door that, like the door that where we leave our apartment, so that as I'm walking out of the door, I always remember to say yes. So this week is to say yes to yourself, to say yes to that person that's in the vision board, that as you look around and you see that authentic, the possessions or the things that represent who you are in your vision board, I want you to look around at that authentic self and say yes to it. And look at what it feels like. Journal about what it feels like to say yes to your heart's desire. To say yes to your heart's desire this week. So, how did that feel? This is the, if any of you have read Shonda Rhimes, The Year of Yes. This is the woman that created Grey's Anatomy, along with, I think she's got 7 blockbuster hits running on TV right now. Of course, I don't get them because I'm over here. Some of them are on Netflix. I think that Grey's Anatomy might be on Netflix now or something. But anyway, Shonda Rhimes, she challenged herself to a year of yes. And this is her story of her year of yes, and how it affected her life, those around her. So just for this week, just say yes. So that's our spiritual core. That's taking a look at what you might think is missing in your life and looking for it in your vision board. Now that we're looking at us from the best version of ourselves, give yourself some love and attention. Say yes to receiving it. Because you too are deserving. And you showed up. So, does anybody have anything that they need to talk about, need to let go of, need to discuss? Okay, yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, it goes back to the fear part. Is that okay? I don't want to
Yes.
take up too
Yes,
many
yes,
other
yes.
people's time. What I noticed in the fighting, I had 3 people that I wanted to write those letters to. I did, and it was powerful. But one of them is a recurring fear for me. And you know, when you say what would happen, what would it look like if this fear occurred? And so it did. In my mind, I know it's about my child, my oldest child. And I know it's not my burden to carry, it's hers. However, because it was my greatest fear, like starting from the pregnancy, what if something happens to this child? And it did. And then once she survived her birth, then what if someone hurts her? And they did. So all of these greatest fears I had were about her, and they happened. And it's been really hard. And it's recurring for me. Like I said, although I know it's not mine, it's her life, but they were my fears. I'm not sure how to, and it's still, I can tell it's still real because it makes my heart palpitate every time I really speak of it or look at it. So I know it's something I still need to let go of, and I'm not quite sure how to do that. So I'm asking for help.
I am going to, and Teresa, I don't know if you feel comfortable chiming in here.
My daughter was also in the middle of that heart, in my fear of her dying from drug overdose. And she was born preemie, so I was hoping she would live. And people have hurt her. And I found that I couldn't work on not feeling that fear, but what I could work on was strengthening myself and my boundaries and finding my joy so that the fear wasn't as bad in my life and overcoming or overpowering my life. Before you mentioned this, Kay, I was going to say, Mary, I don't know what drug you're selling, but this is it. It's like you, often when I've been very depressed, doctors will say, you need an antidepressant. And I'm like, no, I don't like that. But I have found so much energy and joy in doing this process, even though it's been hard. It's like better than the drug. And it's working so that I'm not so consumed by my daughter's life. And it is her life to live. But somehow I was just getting dragged along. But I found when I was working on the things I could work on, I got better. And I used to feel that heart, like, or that like gut wrenching twisting in my gut sometimes. And a lot of times now I don't get that feeling. It's been so bad that I would argue with 911 about administering Narcan. And I'm just like, no, the vitals are good. And he's like, no, she needs it. And I'm like, no, we got it, we're good. So I've come to the point where I'm not a mess and overtaken by that fear, sadness. So, but I guess I did it by just doing the things I could do, like Mary's small workshop challenges and stuff. I would put myself into those things, and it made me stronger.
Thanks, Teresa. Okay,
Thank you.
I think that, and this is for all of us, is that this is deep stuff. This is not stuff that we want to easily let go of or can easily even deal with at times, but to allow to do this over again and over again until you can color in the heart and know that there is no more energy there. Like Teresa, this is your third vision board workshop, third. Other people have gone through the workshop 6 times. That's why I do it. You go through it once, you come back again for free, because I just think that this isn't one and done stuff. We're not one and done.
True.
We as women have gone through so many transitions in our life, and so many instances where we're told we're supposed to know what to do. We're supposed to know how to birth a baby. We're supposed to know how to feed it and take care of it. We're supposed to know how to be a wife. We're supposed to know how to put together a meal. We're supposed to know how to be grandparents. And we just need to give ourselves time to look at this and say, I did the best that I could at that time. And that's all that I'm ever required to do, is I did the best that I could with the tools that I had at that time. And
Yeah.
And if I wanted a different outcome, I have the outcome that I have, and there are lessons in that outcome.
Yeah.
And that's all that we can do. That's all that we there's no other way to make these things that have happened go away, except to say, right then and there, with the tools that I had, I did the best that I could. And now I can release that and know that me right here today, there's not one piece of me that's the same as I was when that child was born. There's not one piece of me, there's not one cell in my body that is the same. And why do I have to keep holding onto this when I did the best that I could with the tools that I had at that time? It is time to release this stuff. It's time. It's not easy. It's not easy.
No.
But
Thank
it
you.
is time.
Thank you for making me feel safe enough to speak.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Anybody else? Kay, you okay? Kirsten is saying that you're very brave. And I want you to know this work, just as what you're experiencing right now, this work doesn't come without tears. That is part of the releasing. It's part of the work. This is our fucking first time of understanding this, of thanking ourselves for experiencing what we did and seeing the lessons that we went through.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody good? We're good?
Yeah. Thank you again.
We're here for you, Kay.
Thank you.
You are not alone. The stories are slightly different, but you're not alone.
Yeah.
If no one else has anything that they need to discuss, next week we talk about our physical outer self. So not how strong we are or how much we exercise. It's how do we view ourselves? What do we say to ourselves when we look in the mirror? Can you view yourself as a temple? And how would you treat a temple? How would you take care of it, shine it, polish it up, make sure it was taken care of? So next week is also pretty powerful. But this week, if you work on saying yes, then next week when we look at our outer physical self, then some light will shine and you'll be able to look in the mirror and say, like as Talia did, "You're fucking hot." So as I end this session with, may I always see the truth. May I always speak the truth. May I always feel the truth. I love you. Namaste. I'll see you next week. Stay active in the Facebook group. If you need to email me, you know where I am. If you need to chat me up on Facebook Messenger, you know where I am. I'm around all week, so don't be quiet. Be safe. Be awesome.
Same to you.
Thank you, Mary.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.